Hi, I'm Emma. Welcome to our channel, an online lifestyle journal bringing you slow, seasonal and intentional living. You can find our everyday life on Instagram at Vincent Trading. We've been transforming our lives for around 2 years now and bring you inspiration on how you can realign and rewild your life no matter where you are in the process right now. A couple of admin things before we get going. The window's open, so if you can hear the birds, enjoy. The dog hanging out back there. She might move around. What else? I'm going to read the questions from my phone. So today is a Q&A video. It's the first actual sit-down YouTube video that I'm putting on here. You will already have seen a couple of visualization meditation audio videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you haven't, go and listen to them. Find yourself a quiet little spot somewhere and visualize how you want your future to look. So I made a list of questions, of the most frequently asked questions on my phone, so we're just gonna get on and do them. Someone said, who are you? Which is the first question, which I thought if you're on my Instagram following is a bit of a weird question, but I'm Emma. I am one half of Vincent & Co. Mike is the other half. We are an online journal. We believe in intentional living. I like to use the word slow living. Mike hates the word slow living because he says it sounds like you are just going slowly all the time, and we are as far from going slowly as you can possibly imagine. We live quite busy, chaotic lives, but slow living for me, which I think is the next question, slow living for me is about being intentional, which is why I like the word intentional living. That is a noisy bird. Stopping and thinking about what you're doing, making space in your life for the things that are important to you. For us, that's living seasonally, so understanding what the planet's doing in each season, understanding what food is in season, how what we are doing is having an impact on the planet, not just mindlessly buying things. And it's been a real journey for us. If you took us back 3 years, you wouldn't believe that we are in the same situation that we are in now. We've been really trying for 2 years now, but I'd say for me the biggest change happened in 2016 when I decided to quit my job. Again, I think this is one of the questions, but it seems sensible to just lead on to here. So I moved to Devon in 2016, partly because we got Lola. Again, this is another question, we're answering them all in one go. She is a Wild at Heart Foundation rescue dog, and she is from Cyprus. So she was flown over to Paris. We paid for her flight. We didn't pay for her, we just paid for her vaccines and her flight. So she was flown from from Cyprus to Paris, and then she was driven in a car full of other doggies, like a special dog transport van, up to Gloucestershire, where we used to live, and we collected her from there. Now, we were really lucky, to be fair. She's so easy to live with. She's so easy. She was a puppy when she came to us, so she was really easygoing, but she's got real bad separation anxiety, and we hadn't thought that that was going to be an issue, but it really was an issue. We put a camera in to see what she was doing while I was at work, because I'd go to work during the day. I'll tell you about that in a second. And she would literally cry for the whole 4 hours that she was left by herself. I'd come home at lunchtime, let her out, take her for a walk, give her some food, play with her a bit, and then leave her again for another 4 hours. And she honestly is heartbreaking. I've never ever seen something that was so personal, that was so heartbreaking, to watch her crying. We'd only had her a few weeks and she was literally crying. She didn't know where she was going, she didn't know who she was, she didn't know what was going on. So I quit my job. There was a few things leading up to it. It wasn't just her that made it happen. What did I do? I was head of a HR department. My technical term was head of people and engagement. I have a business degree and a psychology degree. I'd always wanted to do HR, that's why I did both of them together. And once I got there, I just wasn't enjoying it. I was taught from a young age that I was academic and therefore I had to follow a certain path. I was told by most teachers not to do the things that I love doing, like art, and actually my favourite thing in school was, whoa, sunshine, My very favourite thing in school was woodwork, which sounds crazy, but it genuinely was. But I don't regret anything because I learned a lot in uni. I had a great time. I met the best people. I think I had to go on that process to understand the path that I needed to go on. But I was so desperately unhappy by the end of my job. I just was spending and spending and spending all the money, despite being in a really well-earned job. We had no money at all because I would spend money daily to try and fill that unhappy hole that I was in. So yes, that is my story. I broke my arm about let's see, I left in the September. I broke my arm in the June and I had to take 4 weeks off work because this is the scar that's in here. I had to have like a metal plate put in, and the pain medication made me, I was in a different planet. Literally was floating around in a different universe. Then because I'd taken a few weeks off work, I kind of just had this realisation, like, actually I started filming YouTube videos about that time, and there was one video that I filmed and I called it like the 4Ms, and it was rubbish. It was an absolute rubbish video, but I wish I'd carried on then. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, all of that meant that I left my job. I just packed my bags and I moved to Devon. Mike was like, what are you doing? He didn't come with me at first. I mean, it had always been on the cards. We got married here. My parents have lived here for 10 years. So it had always been on the cards, but it was all just a bit of a shock to everyone when I was like, nah, I'm going. End of story. It's happening now. So the next thing was that Mike carried on working up in Gloucestershire for a year. He then moved down here. He got a job down here working for someone else. A few months later, he decided that he didn't want to work for them anymore, so he went self-employed. And that's kind of when Vincent Trading, as we kind of are still half and half, was born. During my period of time down here of realisation of how unhappy I was, for that first year of moving down is when I started living more intentionally. I started meditating. I started I still wasn't great at aligning myself with the planet. I was like pretending at doing the stuff, so like I said, I was still kind of trying to live this life, but wasn't doing it very well. So that's a little story of us. Kind of answers the question of what made we start intentional living. It answers who are you. So let's delete those questions. What would you say the first step is the next question on here. Just start. And for me, the first step was clearing out my stuff. I think you need to start small. I don't think you need to, I was watching something the other day and it said, start big, start with the scariest thing, and I just don't think that's the case. I'm sorry, it's windy. It wasn't windy when we started this video. It's now windy, so you can hear the roof banging in the wind. What was I saying? I don't think you need to start big. I think you need to start small. I think you just need to go and look at one area of your life. Like, I started with stuff, but it could just be one box. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Just start with one item of clothing or one thing that you think, I probably don't need this anymore, and find out a way to donate it or just give it away for free or do something with it useful. Actually, on that note, I'm going to film a video based around where to donate stuff, because I found recently that the charity shops are so full of stuff that they're not even taking stuff anymore, which I think shows how much of chaos the society is in. We're all buying stuff daily. Amazon's made it so easy, so quick, so convenient, and we don't even think about the monetary value of it anymore. We just buy it. It's done, tick. And don't get me wrong, this was me. This was 100% me. If you could see, I left, but I'm back. So what were we doing? It was me. I was the person that was donating stuff to charity shops. You would be shocked if you saw the amount of stuff I have donated to charity shops in my lifetime. Yet still here I am, surrounded by stuff. You could see the other side of here, the wardrobe. You would be in shock with the amount of stuff we have going on behind us. I still have days where I just feel so down and I will spend money because of that feeling, and I have to, and this is what I mean about it being intentional, I have to stop myself, I have to look at myself, I have to check myself. We're getting a bit off topic here on each question, but once I start talking about something I can't stop myself really. The next question is, what do you do? And this is what I do. Obviously YouTube's not what I do all the time. We are a lifestyle journal. So Mike, there's two parts to our business. And again, I think this is a question that's going to come up soon. So we will just bunch it into one. We started as Vincent Trading, and Vincent Trading was a furniture company. We did wholesale, we did retail, and it was going okay. Like, it wasn't going terribly, but Mike was really unhappy, and that is the key to why we stopped. He wasn't enjoying it, and for me that's fine. Like, you can start something and then decide that you absolutely hate what you're doing. I mean, I did. I went to uni for 3 years and got into all that uni debt and hated what I was doing. Although, to be fair, I still use a lot of that knowledge in daily life. It wasn't a complete waste. I understand that he didn't want to carry on doing what he was doing. No one was going to force him, and that's fine. So we stopped. Simply, we stopped. Mike is a really skilled carpenter and joiner, really skilled. He's worked on incredible houses across the Cotswolds before we moved here with the company that he was with before. Literally, if you could see some of the stuff he'd done, which isn't his company, so we don't share it, but it is incredible. Therefore, we've gone back down that route. We're making kitchens, and he's got lots of golden gates happening at the moment, and garage doors, things like that he never really expected to get. And we're going to start advertising kitchens soon alongside that. So that's one side of the business. This is what I do. The journal is what I do. I'm a photographer, I'm a writer. It's scary to call myself a writer. I've just started to call myself a writer. I find that really scary because I am so dyslexic. But in the same sentence, I've written a 10,000 word dissertation. So I can write. So why can't I be a writer if I'm writing journal posts and mini Instagram posts? And that sounds crazy that Instagram posts would make me a writer, but it takes a lot of work to think about what you're writing and intentionally write it, and to share something with you each day that isn't just a picture. So my new title is photographer and writer, and I'm loving it. The next question was, what does Mike do? But I've told you that. And then, where was Lola from? I've done that. Oh, can I still buy things from you? I don't think I answered that. Yes, you can. We have a few things left on the website. We've got a load of trays left, which were made up for a company that didn't want them in the end. They sadly went into administration, which is very sad. So we've got a load of trays made up, ready to go, and they're on sale for £30. I love the trays. I'll link them below. They're my favourite item. And they were selling really well, but they've kind of slowed down. I just don't think anyone's spending any money at the moment. Oh, here's a good question, which is based around our seasonal living. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll know that we do our shopping now at a local butchers, local greengrocers, and we just go to we just go to the supermarket for branded items because that is the cheapest way to get them. And we do still buy branded items, like we buy mayo in jars, we buy tomato ketchup in glass bottles, even though Mike hates buying in glass bottles. A tip there is actually to keep your old squeezy bottle and then fill your glass bottle into your squeezy bottle in one go, and sometimes we leave ours stood up for a while and just all enters into the other bottle, and then you don't have to worry about banging the top of an annoying glass bottle. I wish Heinz would just put the tomato sauce in the same shape as they put their mayo in. Like, it would just make life 30,000 times more easy. I hate tomato sauce. The question is, don't you find it more expensive to shop in the smaller shops? No, actually, is the answer. No. And I know that because I track our spending each week and I know what we used to spend. And I'm going to share that figure with you because it's different for all over in the different places in the country. It's different for depending on how many people you've got. So I don't want to make it like an aspirational thing, or for you to think, Jesus, they don't spend much on food, or wow, they spend a lot on food, because you can't judge it based on our shopping spending habits. But actually it's costing us exactly the same amount. It fluctuates week on week. Sometimes if we have to buy more stuff in the supermarket, actually that's the place where we spend the most money, is actually in the supermarket still. That's the place that fluctuates the most. One of the things that I will say is that I actually find now that we're much more intentional about it. We just go into the supermarket. Before we'd go in, we wouldn't always have a plan, we'd just buy whatever we fancied. But now what we do is we go in at the start of the week with a loose meal plan, a suggestion of meals that we could do this week. And then we go into the butcher's first and we see what meat's on offer and what cuts they're trying to get rid of and what deals they're doing, because often they're doing deals, and we will buy that, and then we will look at our meal plan and go into the veg shop and loosely again think, okay, so we've bought 2 portions of chicken and a portion of steak meat, so let's get the veg to go with the chicken, and what we're going to do with the chicken this week. It's all much more intentional than it ever was before, where you're just throwing the stuff in your trolley thinking, oh, we might eat broccoli, oh, we might eat cucumber, oh, we might eat this. We know what we're having and we purposely stop and think about what we're buying. It's also reduced our waste so much that we hardly waste anything now. The only thing that we will waste is if we've cooked too much and Mike's forgotten to take it to work with him for a couple of days, and even then I will just normally eat it. If he's forgotten to have it, I'll have it for my lunch. We don't buy that much bread anymore, we're not going through cheese as much as we were. Yeah, we are doing okay, and I don't want anyone to think that we have a huge extra spare amount of cash, because we don't at all. So don't think that we're in a situation where we can just spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on food each week. We can't. This is a strange question. Where do we live? So we are in South Devon, between Salcombe and Kingsbridge. I'm not going to tell you the exact place, although you could probably figure it out if you follow us on Instagram enough, but you'll have to do a bit of detective work to find that one out. We live on my parents' small holding, although it doesn't farm anything anymore. It's a wedding venue. It's a big barn, beautiful wedding venue. We have a top wild field. It sounds all beautiful and romantic. It's a lot of hard work. We live in a tiny little movable cabin, so it's not like movable as it rocks about, although the roof does bang about in the wind. Right on cue. We built this tiny cabin this year, and we moved, well, last year, sorry, 2019 we built it, and we moved in just before Christmas. It's still not finished, like I said, the wardrobe's still around you, hasn't even been painted yet, we don't have a kitchen, but we love it. So it says, who takes your photos? I take my photos. I'm a photographer. That's another thing I do. Actually, I haven't told you about that in this video. I'm a wedding photographer, so that's part of my income, comes from shooting weddings and doing product photography. So the question of who takes our photos is me. I take all our photos. And then the next question of that, actually, which leads on to that, is what do you take your photos on? So I have 3 cameras. No, I have 2 cameras. I have 3 cameras. I technically have 4 cameras. This is the one that I'm filming on right now, is the one that I use for pretty much everything. It's a 5D Mark IV. It's brilliant. It's the best camera I've ever owned. It's so intelligent. It's just incredible. The ISO capabilities are insane. It's just wonderful. I then also have a mirrorless, small compact mirrorless camera, which is the M. I think it's just called the M. I don't know. That one is okay. It does everything that it needs to do. It's brilliant as it's compact. It's got a little flippy out screen. The other thing I use is my iPhone. So this is the 11 Pro Max. It used to be called Plus, I think, didn't it? But this is called Max now. But the camera on here is incredible. Like, if you're not going to buy, if you're just looking to take photos for social media and everyday life, maybe just for a basic blog even, like, this is your best friend. I'll talk all about it another time. And the next question is, how did you learn to take photos? Oh, we're on a photo streak here. I must have grouped these together. So, how did I learn to take photos? I taught myself, actually. I'm completely self-taught. Did a couple of online courses, but other than that, I am completely self-taught. What is going on? There are seagulls, there's the wind. The dog's getting up. Hi! Is the wind scaring you? Get scared of everything, don't you? Yeah, so completely self-taught. Once I want to do something, I just become a bit obsessive about it and I learn it until... I think you've got to have an eye for photography before you even start. And I love technology, so all of that is combined to me being able to do it. I think I can do it anyway. How is your wild field? Our wild field is wonderful, thank you for asking. Okay, so what you don't know since her last... since Lola moved, actually, I think is when... Oh, breaking news. I think Lola... I don't think anything else can go wrong. So, where was I? I think I've done how do you learn to take photos. I think I was on how is your wild field, and I thank you, that person, for asking how our wild field is. It's doing amazing. I'm so glad you're interested. So it's had a bit of a trim the last couple of weeks, ready for the summer, ready for all the new growth to start in the spring. But my plan is March right now, and I've last filmed it 25th of December. You can find that on our IGTV. My plan is to film it again in a couple of weeks. Head over to IGTV to see the last 2 updates. We are going into our early spring update, and we have a summer update, and then we'll have completed a year. We're going to carry on. I'm going to carry on doing them quarterly for you. If you don't know what our wild field is, oh, I'm actually telling you about it and not even actually telling you what it is. We have a top field which used to be farmland, used to be pasture land, I believe, but we planted, I don't even know how many trees, that one of the local woodland trust maybe came in and planted a ton of trees in there for us. They have been in there for, I think it's 5 years. You'll have to watch the other video to know all the actual facts on it. But I will actually sit down and record an actual factual video about the wildfield, because it's so interesting how much it's changed and how much it's growing. It's like growing every time you go out there, it looks different. So we decided to give the field back to nature. We planted the trees. It's on a real steep hill, and right at the top's really exposed. So the trees are taking some time as they grow up, and it's now got a little windy path around it, and it's beautiful. It's my favourite place to walk. When are you filming your next wardrobe update? So again, if you are new around here, the first one was filmed on IGTV, and it was a start of our capsule wardrobe. So for the last couple of years we've been kind of getting rid of stuff, but I haven't really, it couldn't be called a capsule wardrobe. It still can't. It's behind you and it's chaos. And I plan to film it in a couple of weeks, as I said earlier, once we painted the wardrobe, maybe even next week. So that'll be coming out to you in a few weeks. Can we have a tour of your cabin? This is our last question. Can we have a tour of your cabin? Yes, you can, but not yet. So we have got so much to finish on the cabin, and I don't want to put a tour out on here until it's actually done, because yeah, there's still so much to do. We need a whole kitchen. The office isn't even painted. It's the same wood as this, but still raw, naked wood. There's just so much to do. We're slowly but surely getting there, and you'll get little glimpses of it during these videos, like welcome to our beautiful bedroom. This is my favourite room in the house. I absolutely love it in here. Behind you I don't love, but I will love after the weekend. This side I absolutely adore, like my favourite place. If I could just photo this room for the rest of the time, I would. Yeah, I think that's all you need to know for now, really. But if you do have any other questions at any point, just head over to our Instagram or comment below, and I'll try and answer some down there. This video is going to be so long, but it's good just to pop on YouTube, leave it here, so that you can come back to it at any point if you have any questions, and most of them will be answered hopefully in here. thank you for getting to this point, if you have got to this point, and thank you for following us on this slow and intentional lifestyle journey. I hope you're joining along with us, and I'd love to know who you are, so let me know. See you back next week for another video.